Were Breezango able to accessorize over Imperium, or did the European Union drop Magnum on them?
And in the main event, Bayley returns to NXT. She brings with her Sasha Banks, 2 titles, and enough trunk to keep Roderick Strong at bay. Bay?
Air up your tires, and for the love of God, somebody wake up Robert Stone. This is NXT.
Welcome everybody to What's NXT for June 17th, 2020. I'm your host, the Rated R Reviewer, Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General, Jerry Slaughter.
Good morning, wrestling fans.
And, what a fucking show, man.
Right now, go ahead and say good morning to Cleaver, Colin Andrew, and Nate Spain. Thank you guys for joining us in the chat room. If anybody else wants to throw in your 2 cents or just say hello.
Yeah, I already said hello. So, I said hello in the chat room.
I know. I was saying if anybody else wants to say hello.
So, this is a tag team heavy show in that we have 2 tag titles defended. 2, you say? Do we have the NXT UK tag champs here? Are they... I don't even remember who they...
Gallus.
Oh, Gallus, sorry. Oh, anyway.
No! Boys on top!
The WWE Women's Tag Team Champs are in town. Yes, I say Bayley and Sasha Banks are here to grace us in the main event. At some point in the show, they show them coming in, and I'm just looking at Sasha Banks like, Jesus Christ. She's got this 2-piece outfit on. This is like, oh my God. So, we start the night off with the Men's Tag Team Championships, though.
Yeah.
A little surprising to me. I thought at the very least this one would main event the first hour. This would be what would carry you over from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock.
Yeah, to keep the butts in the seats.
You know, put it on, started at like 8:55, 8:57, and then now you're invested and you don't want to change the channel to something that started at 9 o'clock. This, however, started the show. Really fun match. Okay,
so... yes.
Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel come out first. This is not typical. Normally, the champ comes out last. Sort of like Champ's Right. But there was a reason for this.
Yes.
Because they've got their awesome entrance, their Imperium entrance.
Down
they come
to
out,
a T.
They march around, you know, they do that pose together, and it's great.
They're wearing the belts, which is something I think is very, very important.
Then their music dies down. And then it comes back on. And up on the Tron it says Emporium. Fabio
and Marsupial.
And what's his name? Fandango. Geez, sorry, there's so many weird names in this whole concoction.
Oh,
Fandango has got a long blonde wig on. He's doing Fabio. And I think it was Mauro Ranallo, may have been Tom Phillips, reminds us that Fabio's that guy that was on a roller coaster and got hit in the face by a goose. I was like, dude, I forgot that even happened. That happened when I was like in high school. So anyway, this match starts off hilarious.
Yes.
The music got remixed, so they come out and they get to dance.
It's like throbbing techno.
And Fandango can't help but pull his shirt off.
That's what happened.
But completely disrespecting the mat. And if any of you guys know, that mat
is sacred.
Yeah, to Imperium is sacred. So they attack early. That gets this match going, and this match goes every which way you know it's going to go. They are all very good workers, both individually and together. But I think Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel are a couple of these guys that I don't know exactly when they got thrown together as this tag team before Walter even came along. But thank God they did. This is one of those that has just been one of those rare. And maybe they tagged before, and so they've had time to work on this. But
what happened was when they first did their UK tryouts, they actually went against each other. But then after that, when they went to NXT UK, they both had beef with Mark Andrews, and that
went against each other. Mm-hmm. Such weird concoctions of phrase that we have.
It was weird because Eichner came out to some generic music, and Marcel Bartel actually came out to Imperium's music.
So anyway, this was a fun match. I have a bunch of notes. What did you think about it before I delve into some of this shit?
It went so smooth, I couldn't believe it wasn't butter. I was actually really entertained by the match. I didn't think Breezango was going to win the belts, but at least it was a cool showing for them and actually showed they could be a legit threat to the titles. And then we actually got a little bit, not really after match, like there was interference involved, but nothing that got the match thrown out, which was superb. Because it like sets the tone for the next couple of weeks, possibly an 8-man tag or possibly another tag, like another number one contenders match.
So my first note: we're outside. Marcel Bartel throws Tyler Breeze into Eichner, who sends him leapfrogging into the glass. That was fun. Fandango comes in off the hot tag after they work over Breeze for like half the fucking match, honestly. He comes in off the hot tag. He hits this move that I've been wanting to see for like 20 fucking years, like since middle school, honestly. Back in middle school, I had a wrestling fans group, and we all had our own wrestling name. We had cards, we had like move sets and shit. One of my moves, hip toss into a neck breaker. It seems so simple, but you never see it. Mm-hmm. He did it, so I wrote it down because fuck, I've never seen it. He hits that. He hits something else that was like superior. Oh, he hits that tornado DDT again where he kicks off a dude, hits it onto somebody, goes up, and then does a suicida onto both of them when they're on the outside. They get back in. Imperium get back on top. We see that lawn dart that didn't go off too smooth, but Fabian Eichner, as strong as he fucking is,
he spiked the fuck out.
No, he catches him and had to deadlift him back up into the vertical brainbuster. But jeez. So off of that,
quick side note: Colin says they didn't like Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel did not know each other before the WWE.
Yeah, this is an amazing team.
Yes, it is.
Put together. These guys have coalesced so well. Mm-hmm. Their character goes so well together, and maybe it's just the fact that neither one of them has to say a lot.
They're very stern and
stoic.
Yeah, stoic. Very, very good word. Stoic.
Fabian Eichner is probably one that doesn't need to say a lot.
No.
For now, what we've seen on the microphone has been, I would say it's not been impressive because it's not memorable.
He's still better than Ricochet.
We see Breezango hit what they call the faux pas. That's that slingshot where they catapult him into the ropes to a kick, but then they come back and drape across the knees. And then I think Fandango goes off the ropes into an elbow drop across the knees, flips it through. They only get 2 count because I think they did it to Bartel and Eichner rushes in and breaks up the pinfall. It's a great looking move though. Fandango is up for the European uppercut bomb, but he counters with a backdrop onto Eichner, and then Marcel Bartel comes off the top and catches a super kick from Breezango or a supermodel kick, and then Fandango with a super kick, and then at this point, there's a last dance diving leg drop off the top rope. We get a near fall with the breakup. And Hindu Share comes out, and they surround Tyler Breeze, I think, on the outside.
Tyler Breeze on the outside, and then
now they look like they just came out to watch. Yeah. Honestly, they look menacing. Mm-hmm. They didn't really do nothing. Only Lorcan and Danny Burch, however,
hit some shit.
Come out and do something. They attack Hindu Share,
hooligans,
which causes the distraction. So in the ring, we had I think Fandango go for the roll up. But he went for it on Bartel. Bartel is not the legal man. Commentary just told us a few minutes ago the last legal men were Eichner and Fandango.
Yep.
So Eichner comes over, grabs him up in a DDT off of the roll up, and spikes him with a DDT. It was almost like a Willow's bell with no ropes. The angle that he spiked him at. Anyway, he pinned him right there. 1, 2, 3. Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel retain the titles. Of course.
Oh yeah.
Of course. We're not gonna lose them here. Not to Imperium ripoffs.
The IKEA of Imperium.
So we get a Tom Phillips video interview with Velveteen Dream. It looks like he's backstage. I don't see the purpose of this other than social distancing, but they're not worried about Mackenzie. Mackenzie's getting all up in everybody's face.
Yes, she is.
Velveteen's backstage, probably on his couch, got the smoke going. I wonder what the smoke does for him. I don't know.
He wants to smoke.
He asks him about his loss and the fact that Velveteen Dream can no longer vie for the NXT Championship now that he lost to Adam Cole. And Dream basically says he has no recollection of that, plain and simple. He's like, I don't even know why you're asking me this. That's a stupid question. Meanwhile, he's saying all of this.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Dexter Lumis is creeping up behind his couch, and he sets a drawing that he made of, obviously, Velveteen Dream and himself holding the tag team championships. Velveteen Dream doesn't notice until he sits back down, looks over, and there's the drawing, but no Dexter Lumis. He's like, the fuck is this? He says, this is a misunderstanding. He said, last week, he was just paying a favor.
Yeah.
He was repaying Dexter Lumis for coming out and helping him during the, even though he didn't win it, during the main event of NXT TakeOver, and shoving Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong into a trunk and driving off with him, setting off Roderick Strong's ailments.
Rampant paranoia, yes.
We're going to get to those later. Meanwhile, Velveteen Dream tells Dexter Lumis says to him, this means nothing. Dream is a solo act. And he leaves.
Well, I got really excited about this because it's just now dawning on me that Velveteen Dream acts like Prince, and then you have Dexter Lumis, who's the artist. So it kind of works out.
The artist and the Prince, whatever.
The artist for Prince.
Damian Priest is shown arriving in the building in his car, his nice little
Challenger.
Car. And he is being creeped by Cameron Grimes in the background. And Jerry called it. He's like, Grimes is going to fuck with his car. I'm like, you think they're going to blatantly rip off SmackDown and the pay-per-view?
Yes.
Yes. Not in the same vein, but we'll get there. We come back from commercial, and Damian Priest has got a match. His opponent, Killian Dane. Now, we've seen this match before. I feel like, though, these two are big enough names that this match should have had at least some build-up. We should have not been guessing who Damian Priest's opponent was going to be, and then it be Killian Dane. And then Priest sustains an injury seemingly off of nothing in this match, works through it, and finishes the match quicker than the first match that they had when he came in and he was green. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay, it's kind of a clusterfuck of an idea. The match and execution was decent. But
I think the only thing they were trying to accomplish with this match is start pushing Damian Priest as a face. They were already starting on that after his match with Finn Balor, but I think now at this point they're just trying.
What did Killian Dane do though to deserve? What did he finger bang Stephanie McMahon? Like, what did he do? Like, God, he should be a big deal.
I figured they'd be a better team since, Damian's last name is Priest and he spends Killian Dane spends most of his time on a cross.
So early on in the match, Priest does this leapfrog off of just some running off the ropes, where ducking under or whatever. He does just a leapfrog over Killian Dane. When he lands, suddenly his lower back hurts. So Dane starts taking advantage of that.
Threw his back out, helped your mom last night. Huge.
He picks him up for a belly to back drop, lands it at the land. Something's coming because Priest has still got his arm around his neck. So he rolls up and hits another one, rolls up, and instead of hitting another one, reverses it and face plants him with a sit out.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun, but
only
got a near fall. Priest gets some offense in. He starts doing these, God, I can't believe I'm mentioning this. Running to the corner, finishing with the back elbow. Fucking hate these fucking back elbows. I'm so sick and goddamn tired of back elbows. Back elbows and arm drags. I'm so fucking tired of back elbows and arm drags. You know why I hate arm drags? It's because they're the most basic move. They start at the very beginning because they started A, and they always lead into the worst, longest rest holds of all of the matches. This is where it starts. It starts with the arm drag and then the arm bar or that arm hold. Oh, God. I'm sorry. Back elbows and arm drags, dude. They're such an arm drag.
Oh.
Anyway.
Let's not make that a thing.
So Priest hits 2 of these running back elbows. He goes for a third wood, and Dane counters it with the divide, where he runs and hits him with a running crossbody. He only gets a near fall.
He actually looks good doing it.
Yeah. He's the one guy who's figured out physics-wise, how to execute that move and land it properly so that the dude underneath him does not get squashed upon the legs.
Or a random chick.
Everybody else that's got that build, that's got that move set, they always dive into it and seem to squash the person's leg out from under them because they plan on landing short of where they should. Anyway.
It's a mess. It's a clusterfuck.
Dane carries it well. In the end, though, he goes for something and Priest gets out of it. Oh, he goes for an electric chair drop or something, and Priest ends up doing a roll up, but he doesn't get the pinfall. But coming right out of it, he does that 360 kick right into a reckoning. 1, 2, 3. He finishes Killian Dane, and he leaves. And that's it. Except when we come back from commercial.
Yeah.
Before we get to commercial, though, we get this video promo for Santos Escobar and what we're deeming the cartel.
Yeah.
They might have a different name for this group, but we're calling them the cartel. He says in this promo, when you turn your back on a legacy, a new future is born. I will rewrite the history of Lucha Libre with my own words, starting tonight. Mm-hmm. Love this. It was very poetic.
I think this is some of the best stuff on NXT right now. I love these guys.
But then we come back from commercial and they show exclusive footage from after the match when Killian Dane was heading to the back, and there's Robert Stone with a
Bugenhagen also
bottle in his hand. Yeah, Bugenhagen's who I noticed. I didn't even notice Robert Stone, but Stone's got a bottle in his hand that's wrapped up in a brown paper bag, so we got to assume it's booze, right? Mm-hmm. And he's just leaning up against the glass, and
Killian Dane just smacks the glass.
He smacks that hockey glass and knocks over, knocks over Robert Stone. It was just so disheveled. They say he smells awful. He hasn't had a shower in 3 weeks, something like that. This Robert Stone character, I'm enjoying just for shits and giggles.
I like the fact that we didn't get really much build as him as a super agent. He has one client, and now she's fucking gone.
So I forgot to underline the winner there. We get Xia Li versus Aaliyah.
Again.
Speaking of Robert Stone, so Xia Li comes out and she's looking very tan. She's been in Florida for a while. You can tell. Mm-hmm. She looks very dark. Anyway, she comes out. Same entrance, fun stuff, whatever. Against, they say, her nemesis, her rival. I'm like, Aaliyah. Yeah, Aaliyah. Fuck. Of course Aaliyah. Because Aaliyah comes down the ramp, notices Robert Stone laying over in the corner up against a wall somewhere with the bottle, and she just runs to him. Like, oh my God, like she's going to rescue a puppy.
Yeah, saving his soul.
She tries to take the bottle from him, he snatches it back. But she takes him, she drags him to the ring. Come to the ring with me, help me win by being there drunk, I guess. Or at least watch me win so you can get out of your funk and, represent me. Because she's going nowhere.
Yeah.
Maybe he can get her somewhere. Maybe that's what she's looking for. Anyway, I've got a few notes here. Mostly that Aaliyah looks like the Pink Power Ranger, but kind of as a stripper. I'm digging it, though. I'm fine with that.
It's like she's wearing Laffy Taffy. It's awesome.
Super okay with that. Yes, please. What are your thoughts on the match?
I think right now, if anything, I think maybe some sort of cross-branding thing is going to be happening. I'm actually thinking Chelsea Green's going to probably lose a couple matches up on the main roster, and then try to come back to NXT to Robert Stone. But by that time, maybe Aaliyah will be on some sort of winning streak, and he'll want to stick with her and not be with Chelsea Green, and that's gonna like start a feud between the two of them.
Maybe, yeah.
That make the most sense, really, for that storyline.
Well, Chelsea Green didn't really have a great streak to begin with.
Exactly. So I'm thinking, like, her going up there and not having representation.
No, I think she's just going to continue to go on NXT and have a losing streak and then want him back. But then Aaliyah's going to have a hot streak, and he's going to be like, why would I leave her? And
yeah.
Like, or maybe, especially if they have a match and Aaliyah beats Chelsea Green.
Oh, that'd be so great.
But
that'd be the big payoff for the whole thing.
Yeah. So anyway, I've got a few notes here. Stone gets up on the apron and projectile pukes. Regular match stuff, you know.
I called it too.
Yeah. He's so drunk, he just wanders up onto the apron. He looks around, but now he's sick. He starts holding his gut.
Vertigo. Little vertigo.
Distracting Xia Li. He pukes and nearly gets Xia Li, who backs up and catches a fruit roll up by Aaliyah, who gets a 2 count. Xia Li kicks out of it, sort of squirms out, and then Aaliyah repins her. Dude, she full on stacks her up.
Yeah.
Cooch to cooch, like she's holding her wrists down with her hands. Like, that is female rape pose. Anyway, she gets the 1, 2, 3 off of the second pinfall attempt. And I'm like, awesome. Puke, pin.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Robert Stone more or less gets carried to the back.
He helped her win.
Yeah.
So cool. So yeah, she helps him to the back, and he's out of it.
So I'm guessing over the next week or two, it's going to show her backstage, just try and get him back into shape.
Well, she's got to do something. After this match ends, he just like trips off the apron onto the floor, and she's like, "Are you okay? Holy shit!"
There's so much good comedy in this episode.
Yeah. So we get a video promo, the second promo, but first day of Thatch as Thatch Can School of Wrestling. We watched Tim Thatcher put on 2 arm holds. We saw the Fujiwara armbar and the double wrist lock that he puts onto a couple of guys. You can't see who they are. You just see their arms.
Yeah.
And
he causes pain.
He tells them to squeal.
Mm-hmm.
Makes them squeal. Causes them to tap out, and he still keeps the move on, and blah, blah, blah. The real work, though, he says, begins next week. We're going to move on from arm bars. Arm bars.
Is there really such a movie?
Next week, he's going to teach him the arm drag.
Fuck.
We have...
According to Chris Jericho, those are the first 2 moves.
We've got a fun little vignette here. I call it Undisputed Therapy for Roderick Strong.
Well, they called it Undisputed Therapy.
Probably where I got it. That's where I wrote it. That's what I wrote down. So we've got Adam Cole and Bobby Fish. They pick up Roderick Strong at a limousine. They tell him they're going to help him. They're going to take him to the best guy in the business for this. They take him to a doctor's office, and therein lies Dr. Lyle von Thurstenberg, who is actually Kyle O'Reilly with his new beard and a get-up. And I think he's on a green screen, and they are too, and he's not actually there. But they're putting him in this. This was so good. Your thoughts before?
I thought it was great. I'm thoroughly enjoying Roderick Strong's whole paranoid persona, but at the same time, I'm thinking it's like, what does he really need to be paranoid about at this point? Because he's already beaten Dexter Lumis.
Yeah, but he says Lumis is always staring at him. They show him an ink block test. Yeah. Which is fun because Kyle O'Reilly hands it, and then they switch cameras, and you see it being handed, but not by him, to Adam Cole, or maybe Bobby Fish, who knows. Either way, they start showing Roderick Strong these ink blots. First, he sees a very strong person, muscles, and you can kind of see it in the picture. Then he sees Dexter Lumis. I don't see it. Then the next one, he doesn't see anything, but he tells him to turn it upside down. Turns it upside down, and he's like, yeah, it's the trunk. And we have zeroed in on the epicenter of his actual fear, and that's the trunk. It's not Dexter Lumis. It's the fact that Dexter Lumis has no problem stuffing him in the trunk of a car. They say Roddy has to face his fears. He agrees. So they go outside to the limousine. Of course, we don't have Kyle O'Reilly here, but that's okay. And Roderick Strong is ready. He's ready. He's ready. He's going to get in the trunk and he's going to face his fears. And he immediately turns around and sprints. Sprints away. They don't show him stop at all. But they do say that as Cole says, we're going to have to go catch our friend. So driver! Trunk and he yells for the driver. He's such a dick to that driver. And that's the scene.
Colin says, Robert Drozdov. And I love Kyle O'Reilly. That shit was too great. And dude, another guy, Johnny Elite 45 for life says, hashtag Adam 2 belts. We're going to get to that here in a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to start to get to that right now.
Mm-hmm.
We cut to an interview with Adam Cole about Scarlett coming out last week and giving him the hourglass. He's looking at the hourglass.
Really sweet looking hourglass.
And he goes to say this is nothing different, but he doesn't get to say much more because Keith Lee approaches from behind and interrupts. He dismisses McKenzie.
Very politely, though.
Yeah. But he tells McKenzie to kick dirt. And,
kick rocks!
He says Cole's time is limited, but not by Cross, by him. And then he takes the hourglass and he breaks it on the ground.
And then he says TikTok. Because that's the kind of guy he is.
Now this, I guess, pisses off Adam Cole, or maybe this was already his time, but whatever. He comes to the ring.
Talks more about how he's the longest reigning champion and blah, blah,
381 blah. Days. God damn it, that's impressive.
Yes.
I don't care if it is scripted. Anyway, he says, he's talking to Cross. He says, you can't just demand a title match. He calls him Killian Cross and then Karrion Cross. Yeah, this was live, folks. For the first time in a while, it was live. He calls out, who is this? Keith Lee, and says, he says Keith Lee tells him that he's got his eye on the NXT Championship. Well, he's got his own eye on the North American title. Lest ye forget, he was the very first North American champion. Lest. He says, after I beat Lee, you can call me Champ, baby. This is great. But this also brings out Keith Lee, who doesn't say anything before Johnny Gargano comes out, because he hasn't gotten to say anything all night, and he says a bunch of shit. He says, like, last week he pinned Lee 1, 2, 3. Now he's coming for the NA title, which is what I said last week. And it didn't matter that it was a intergender match. He still pinned Lee.
Nate Spain says Johnny 2 belts. He's going for Gargano at this point.
But he says, why stop there? And he looks at Adam Cole. But Lee says last week he's surprised Johnny's mentioning that because
how's your wife?
Yeah, he didn't seem to care at all about Candice LeRae. Like, Keith Lee was picking her up, but he had a tear in his eye, and she said it, whispered it to his ear. That's the most action she's had all year. And which kind of rhymes.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. This brings out Finn Balor, who re-challenges Keith Lee. He's like, I hope you heard me last week, but if you didn't, I'm going to say it again. He says, this is not a challenge, this is a warning. And he says, after I beat you, I'm coming for Cole. This brings out William Regal, not to the ring, to the Tron.
Regal just Skypes in. He's like, hey guys, what's going on?
He's like, look.
Tea and crumpets and such.
I got a plan. I've got a fix for all of this. He says, next week what we're going to do is we're going to have Keith Lee defend the North American Championship against both Johnny Gargano and Finn Balor. Here's the kicker. The winner of that match, be it any of the three, moves on in 3 weeks from now on July 8th. That person faces Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. Not only that, but Adam Cole faces them for the North American Championship. Winner take all.
Somebody's winning both belts.
So, cool.
So, your thoughts on who's going to be winning this match?
Oh, fuck. I hope it's Keith Lee. I hope he retains the title and moves on and beats Cole. This is what we wanted. We wanted him to lose so he could move on and take on Cole and defeat him in the reign and become the NXT champion.
It's like what's better than Keith Lee being an NXT champion? NXT champion and North American champion.
It's hard to call the match, though, because it'll be a triple threat, which means no rules. other than pinfall or submission.
My only other idea is Adam Cole retained, gets the North American title as well, and gives that to Roderick Strong, and hopefully gives him back some courage.
So after we come back from commercial, McKenzie attempts an interview with Keith Lee, but Candice LeRae interrupts, and she starts nagging him. But he doesn't say anything back to her. He just points behind her, and there's Mia Yim. This starts a brawl. Mia Yim starts beating on her. She takes these plastic boxes, these old school boxes, the ones with the lids on top that fold into each other. She threw them at her, and oh my, that looked fucking painful. And I think it was because at one point, LeRae picks up one and shoves it into Mia's gut. And I think she shoved it super hard as to say, hey, bitch, stop throwing them so goddamn hard. That hurt.
Yeah.
Anyway, this leads on to some chairs, and I like the way they were going, but the camera cuts away. So, yeah, anyway, that's a brawl. Meanwhile, in the ring, Kaden Carter comes out. She's got Casey Catanzaro with her, and why would she have somebody in her corner except that she's facing
Dakota Kai,
who has got
Raquel
Gonzalez,
Gonzalez,
Raquel, whatever. This
I like Reina better myself.
I like Big Mama Cool.
Yeah, Big Mommy Cool.
Big Mommy sounds weird. Big Mama Cool.
Well, it was Big Daddy Cool, so it's gotta be Big Mommy.
Yeah, but there's not like Big Dada. The last time I heard the term Dada was in the movie. Oh fuck, what is it with the midgets? I love the movie too. Why does the name escape? Willow. So Dakota Kai with Raquel Gonzalez, also known as Big Mama Cool, and my first note here is the new chick ref, the black ref. She owns all the booty in the ring.
Yes.
Oh my god, she is okay. Talk about junk in the trunk. This is why Roderick Strong was nowhere near the Performance Center this week. Anyway, what do you think about the match?
Didn't really do much for me. I figured Kai was going to pick up the victory anyway, and I love watching her wrestle, so it didn't really matter. But Kaden Carter's impressive, but the second Casey Catanzaro tried to attack Raquel Gonzalez on the outside of the ring, I knew pretty much at that point the match was done.
Yeah, so my one note of note in this match was Kaden Carter. She hits a move that I have never seen before, and I liked a lot. I called it a draping pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't do the double chicken wing on the arms, but she got the head trapped between her legs while Dakota Kai was draped over the middle rope from the apron and delivered a pedigree. And I was like, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't get a pinfall off of it. In the end, like you said, Raquel Gonzalez ends up taking out Casey Catanzaro outside, which causes a distraction where Dakota Kai goes for a roll-up. She doesn't get the pinfall off the roll-up, but off of the near fall, she rolls it into what I called an inverted Rings of Saturn. So she gets the arms trapped, much like the Rings of Saturn, but with her legs, but she's grapevining from the bottom. From the bottom, she's kind of reverse guillotining the neck, pulling it back.
It needs to be called the Cobra Kai.
Sure. Let them worry about the domain rights to that.
Yep.
Anyway,
it's okay. We spelled it with both K's.
Yeah, Carter taps out. Dakota Kai wins. Whoop whoop. Dakota Kai with another win.
You know it.
At some point, we got to see Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez go after WWE Women's Tag Team Championships.
That'd be great.
Meanwhile, we get this very old-timey filtered black and white with those scratch lines or whatever coming in. They have found the broken hourglass.
Yes. By they, we mean Karrion Kross and Scarlett.
You see Scarlett, you only see Cross's boot.
Yeah, and it crushes like what little glass is left.
Yeah, cool stuff.
I was actually thinking we were going to do something really cheesy, like she's going to be sitting there and all of a sudden it's going to like get really scratchy. All of a sudden the hourglass be put back together again.
Dude, I was hoping it was going to be a reverse into the hourglass being back together too. You read my mind. I didn't say it out loud,
that would
but like
actually
literally
pretty cool.
The way it was looking, because it kind of looked a little weird the way she approached.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping she had done this backwards, and that's why it looked weird, so that they could have the footage of the hourglass coming back together.
Yeah. or just like a couple flashes, almost like the old Bray Wyatt thing, where it's like you have a flash of a crow, maybe like a cross-type logo, then all of a sudden you just see it sitting there again, all in one piece.
No, what you do is you do her. Okay, first you drop it.
Yeah.
And then it breaks, and then you have her reverse back that cat stalk that she did.
Yeah.
Then you play it back, and then after it comes back together and goes back out of camera angle, then you bring the camera up. That's where you switch your cameras.
Yeah.
You bring your camera up, and there's Karrion Kross holding it.
Yeah.
And it shows him holding it, and then he looks at and it's half and half the way that it was.
Yeah.
Because the way we saw it when we actually saw it whole, half of the sand was through it. So it was a 2-week long hourglass, which is so 2 week long glass. Anyway, so yeah, have it be in half and half again, and have him look at the camera and say TikTok. And that would have been
the shit.
Why are we not writing for these folks? Anyway, we come back from a commercial to a video package for Mercedes Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
not Punishment, because that's Damian Priest. This is Mercedes.
They said coming soon, and I'm like, again.
She already done came a couple times.
She's been here a while.
Yeah,
now and then, here and there.
She's coming on a couple times.
Bronson Reed, Thick Boy, versus Leon Ruff, who's about to have a rough night. They said Bronson Reed was impressive. I don't call this impressive. Impressive to me is insta finisher done, or worked a good match.
I love Leon though. His energy going into the ring was great.
He's hanging upside down from the ropes and shit. He gets in the ring. They start the match, and Thick Boy Reed just runs at him and runs over him. Comes off the ropes, hits that running senton, goes up top, hits a diving splash. Match is over. 1, 2, 3. Done.
I'm going to ask you this question right now, and I don't want to sound racist. But
every time someone starts a sentence that way, go ahead, Jerry. This is the Rated R show, man.
Do you think this is a dig at Leo Rush? The whole character of Leon Ruff?
Maybe.
Because of all the jabs he's been taking at NXT and WWE product, it only makes sense that he's like now getting parodied on WWE television.
I think I've seen his name on tights that look old enough that predate all of that.
All right, cool.
So I feel like it just so happens his name is Leon Ruff.
Yep.
It just happens to be a weird coincidence. Anyway.
Okay, let's see. We'll go and chat here real quick. Cleaver Call Andrew says, I see Cross taking out Lee during this triple threat next week. That could happen. And so they cut Leo Rush for a Leon Ruff. Hashtag great value version.
Nate Spain says, I wonder if he's full-time NXT now that Evolve is done. I didn't know Evolve was done. Damn.
Well,
everything's folding now?
Well, they're pretty much on super duper hiatus at this point because there's really nothing to do.
True. I do want to mention after the match.
So
maybe the reason Bronson Reed got the match over with quick was because he knew he wanted to get on the mic. He gets on the mic to call out Karrion Kross, who attacked him after his loss to Cameron Grimes, and that was 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Hit a wicked belly to back drop, which they call the Doomsday or something. Doomsday
Saito.
Okay, cool. And he calls him out for next week.
Mm-hmm. He's doing something nobody else has done yet. It's like, well, nobody's really had a chance. There's been that cool entrance, him destroying somebody and leaving.
Yeah, and Tommaso Ciampa didn't really get an opportunity to call him out. He attacked Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
I realized I called him by 2 different versions of his name in the same sentence. So.
That's pretty impressive.
Anyway. He goes to leave and notices Leon Ruff, who's had a rough night. Still trying to get up on the outside, on the floor, pulling himself up the steps. And he approaches him, helps him up. Not only helps him up, but notices he's not going to be able to walk very well. So he just throws him over his shoulder and carries him to the back.
Black Lives Matter.
Good guy thick.
Yeah.
Damian Priest is outside because cameras are being swarming out.
Yeah.
They send him out. Something's going on.
Something's going on in the parking lot.
That's exactly what Jerry called. They didn't break the glass on his windshield, but somehow all 4 tires have been relieved of all of their air pressure, and he's pissed. Meanwhile, Cameron Grimes has got a fully functioning car. He drives by and he mentions to Damian Priest he's going to go ahead and call him an Uber. And he laughs his way out of the parking lot. And so...
That's just good television.
Good stuff, good stuff. Santos Escobar. It is his time to get on the mic. He comes out with Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. They look amazing.
This is a great faction. I'm loving it. Like, it actually makes me actually care about Joaquin Wilde and fucking, like, Matt.
He says that in Mexico, El Hijo del Fantasma, son of Fantasma, was considered the greatest luchador. He said for 20 years, he's just been a luchador in a mask. That's how everybody in America sees him. He says, but now he is going to be a leader of leaders. He said his dad told him, the original Fantasma told him that he was destined to be a leader. And he said to Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza, I will make you all leaders as well. That's about as much as he gets out before Drake Maverick comes out, interrupts him, and says, people have always told him he's had more brain or guts than brains, and he's going to prove it. He gets in the ring and attacks Fantasma, and immediately gets triple teamed. They take him outside, they throw him in the air and drape him across the fucking like neck first across the railing.
And shoulder across the railing.
They throw him over onto the concrete, and then drag him over to the table, throw him over the table, where Fantasma picks him up on this platform or whatever, and then does the Phantom Driver that firemen's carry into a Michinoku through the table, lays him out. And
almost hits the purple cup.
Here's the thing. Drake Maverick never actually hits the table.
No.
Phantasma's butt and legs hit the table. Drake Maverick hit the fucking floor.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's where this ended, and that's where it needed to end, because Drake Maverick probably needed some medical attention.
They carted him off, and Jake Atlas was running after him with his glasses and whatnot.
Yeah, they show him getting let out on a stretcher, put on an ambulance. This is when we come back from commercial, and he is gone. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, next week, Bronson Reed versus Karrion Kross with Scarlett, by the way. Got to mention that, because you don't want to miss Scarlett.
No.
We also get Damian Priest versus Cameron Grimes. Going to be sweet.
That's going to be a great match.
We also get Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano versus Finn Balor for the North American Championship. Also for a chance at Adam Cole. Winner takes all in 3 weeks, July 8th. That's going to be a hell of a time.
I call those kind of cards IHOP. You know why? Stacked.
This brings us to the main event. Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox versus Sasha Banks and Bayley for the Women's Tag Team Championships. And this match was a lot of fun.
Do you have a waffle maker?
Yes, I do.
Can I borrow it?
Possibly.
Awesome.
Best time to ask.
Yeah. Why not? We're consummate professionals.
Let me ask you, what did you think about the match? The main event. Take it, Jerry. No interruptions. Go for it. You're on. It's your time to shine. Go, Jerry.
Nox and Blackheart weren't going to win this match, but they actually showed they could be a tag team, which was pretty nice because you don't really have a lot of female tag teams. So maybe they actually do get a couple more tag wins under their belts and possibly even go up to Raw or SmackDown and wrestle like in tag matches there too, just to broaden out the division a little bit. And but that could bring up Gonzalez and Kai at the same time.
I hate seeing NXT people just show up on Raw and SmackDown to be jobbers.
I hate it too, but at the same time, but if it's gonna,
at best it devalues them. At worst, Vince might see something in them and be like, "All right, they're just gonna stay here," and then he's gonna ruin them. So.
Vince McMahon ruined something we like.
Nate Spain says, I think WWE is buying Evolve as a real developmental brand with NXT as a third brand now. Well, NXT really seems like a third brand. I've just figured NXT UK would be the developmental brand. And then any new expansion, NXT Japan, NXT, what do you call it? Australia.
Pretty much Evolve in Progress has been Triple H's pocket for quite some time now. And that's where he's gotten almost everybody from NXT UK. So... It's highly likely, but at the same time, they won't directly say that they're working for the WWE. They'll still treat themselves as their own entity.
All right. So I already mentioned in the intro all of Bayley's junk in her trunk. Holy shit, dude! She owned the ass in that ring. Holy crap! All the rest of the girls pale. I know. I'm sorry. I'm a pig. Every now and then I'm a pig. I apologize.
Every now and then.
Every now and then.
Just briefly.
When I watch wrestling, it's interesting. Sometimes their butt's the most interesting thing about them, i.e., Chelsea Green. Anyway, Shotzi gets the hot tag after a while into this match, and this is where I start taking a buttload of notes. She hits that sling blade bulldog, hits a high knee, a discus punch, which I don't see a lot, and she nailed it well. And then she hits that switchblade kick where she goes to do a side kick, but then like recocks her leg and hits it in the side of the head. Cool. And then a high angle belly to belly backdrop, but only gets a near fall. She goes for that wrecking ball drop kick to the outside, but misses and totally slides out. And Banks catches her with a what do you call it? A Meteora off the apron.
That was a great looking Meteora.
Only gets a near fall though, because she had to throw her in. Eventually, the baby faces get back on top, and we actually see stereo cannonbores, or those running cannonballs, into the corner. And then Nox chokeslams Banks off of the apron onto Banks, who's standing outside on the floor. That was cool. But then she assists Shotzi to run up to the top rope on the corner and dive off outside into a crossbody onto both of them. Cool. See, we're back in the ring. Assisted sliced bread gets a near fall, but then they go up for some doomsday something onto Sasha Banks, who gets out of it, pushes, I think, Nox face first into the middle turnbuckle, but Shotzi still comes off with a a missile drop kick, but she doesn't get a pinfall. She attempts it, but it gets countered into a crucifix pin attempt, but she kicks out, and so Banks rolls it into a Banks statement. She almost gets her to tap, but Shotzi counters it into this awesome submission that I'm going to call the Vertebraker submission. Very similar.
Pretty much, it's a seated cattle mutilation, like Bryan Danielson used to use it on in Ring of Honor and everything. Pretty much, but this time, like Shotzi Blackheart actually did it from a seated position, and that was just beautiful.
She's got a bow and arrow on the arms, but flips forward, has her head into her back, but is holding the arms behind. So anyway, if she stood up, it would be setting up for a Vertebraker, is why I call it that.
Yeah.
Anyway, she almost gets her to tap. But what happens? Bayley comes into the ring bringing a chair. Tegan Nox sees it, grabs it from her. This gets the ref. Ref turns around. He doesn't see anything. So while Tegan Nox, is it Tegan Nox?
Yeah.
Puts the chair outside, Bayley flips Shotzi Blackheart back into the Bank statement, and zip zam zoom. Shotzi taps.
Zip zap zooey.
Zip zap zooey. I am drugs. Don't call me honey.
Oh, pure.
As I figured, and as WWE's app and their stupid fucking message system, like they sent me a what do you call it? A
reminder.
Yeah.
Or a link.
Or a fucking. Yeah, they ruined the main event for me, but it's okay. I figured Bayley and Sasha were going to win. Like I said, though, fun match. And we had some aftermatch, because they go to celebrate, and then out of nowhere, Io Shirai comes off the top rope, and we're talking the middle. She slingshots in and drop kicks, was it Sasha Banks?
Yep.
Drop kicks Sasha Banks, turns around, hits Bayley with a German suplex. Now they're both in the corner.
Other way around.
Oh, it doesn't matter. They're both in the corners. And she does running Meteoras into both of them. And then as they leave, she goes to do a suicida, but they are too far out of dodge.
She is
so she jumps off the ropes, much like Aleister Black. Anyway, she holds up her NXT Women's Championship, basically saying, she says, NXT. This is her NXT. Yep. Yeah, springboard dropkick to Bayley, German suplex to Banks.
I only have one grievance about that whole thing. Is the fact that maybe if like Sasha and Bayley had cut a promo earlier in the evening or something, saying like how they're back to back to their NXT and whatnot, that would have been a little bit better.
Nate Spain says that's what happened with Shane Thorne. He showed on Raw a couple weeks with Brendan Vink and hasn't been seen since. Yeah, exactly. Angel Garza.
Yeah.
No, not even just him. Fucking Theory, Austin Theory.
Yeah.
Moved up just to fill in a spot, and now he's gone. He doesn't have his time to shine where it counts. Colin the Cleaver Andrew says, I enjoyed that match. That ass, though, could use it as an end table. I wouldn't mind. Or a pillow. The Cleaver says he's going to give it... Okay, I'm going to save this. That brings us to the end of the main event. Here on What's NXT, we like to rate the main event. How do we do it, you say? With the General's 5-star rating system. How original, right? 5 stars. Who does that? Out of 5 stars, Jerry, where do you rate the main event?
I give it 3.5. Like, the match itself was actually very surprising in the fact that Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart put up such a fight, and they got a lot of great offense in. And it just shows, like, more solidarity between Sasha Banks and Bayley, which means it's going to be an even bigger downfall relatively soon. But I'll go ahead and give it an extra quarter off of, if anything, an entertaining show building up to an even more awesome show this next week. So 3 3/4.
Well, Colin Andrew agrees. He gives it 3 7/5. Oh, no, he gives it a 4 overall. I guess an extra 2.5 off of the show. Nate Spain says he gives it a 3.5 overall.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to agree with Colin. Actually, I think this match was really, really good, borderline great. That puts it for me at 3.75. And then the show itself was really great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I half expected it to be a dud of a show because Aaron Rifted said he thought Raw was better than... And to be fair, he said both NXT and AEW this week. So I was kind of expecting a dud of a show. And to be honest... It could have been, NXT, based on what we got. It could have been, but
NXT does what it does best on this episode. They had enough great matches, but then more build, if anything, towards better matches this next week.
You didn't have any fucked up finishes. Even the tag match that started the show that could have had a funny finish really didn't.
No.
It was just a little bit of a distraction, and the distraction should have worked out for the baby faces for Fandango, but he wasn't the legal man. So, like, it was just... Or Marcel Bartel wasn't. So, like, I really enjoyed this, and it hyped up next week for sure. And then that match that we're going to have in 3 weeks for Winner Take All, hell yeah. I'm calling it a solid 4 out of 5 stars as well. Anybody else want to chime in? Oh, Chris Mace is in the chat room. He gives it a 3.5. Nate Spain, I don't know if I said it already. He gives it a 3.5.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for joining us. We're going to try and do something tomorrow around this time.
We may not.
Maybe not?
No.
Oh, we're not.
Like, basically, there's no NXT UK to cover. I have stuff I got to do tomorrow anyway, so.
Well, I still haven't checked to see if we've got any more hidden gems.
Yeah, that's something we need to look into. We may do a show. We may not do a show. Who knows? Maybe I'll just Skype from home and we'll do something like that.
Yeah, if you click that bell icon, it'll let you know if we go live with something. Meanwhile, if you'd like to join us on a future episode of whatever, maybe we'll open up this show to guests. I mean, shit, we've already had Jeff Meacham.
Yeah.
He sort of opened it up. Anyway.
It'll kind of kill this thing, but it's all right.
Well, we just skipped that show.
Yeah.
When we did it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did.
Yeah. We just go back to the show before it to keep doing the infinite us's. Anyway, so you can leave down in the it's like we're rookies at doing the outro. You can leave down in the comments a way for us to get a hold of you, or you can find us on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. I'm on Twitter. Go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's Stefan. Or if you just want to look me up, Stefan R. Osborne, Osborne. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find the gentleman on Twitter as well too. Also.
At Gerald _JSJ, my Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR, exclamation point. Also got a t-shirt now with the General and Armbar on it. Teesprings at the Greg Cherry brand, so thank you for that. Also, I run the Aftermatch Wrestling group on Facebook, and then Colin the Cleaver Andrew runs Aftermatch_Wrestling on Instagram, and Aftermatch Rest on Twitter, where we take the ling out of wrestling.
Whatever the fuck that means. I need a little bouncy. That would be hilarious.
You can find me on Instagram at the_gentleman_slaughter. And Mr. No Content over here.
Osborne.Stefan. I don't clog your news feed, but you're welcome to follow me. I think it's hilarious. Mm-hmm. Maybe you do too. Yeah, I have no content.
And have you checked to see if you have any new followers on Instagram?
Oh, I get them every now and then. Like, I follow people and shit, but, like, I have literally no content. And I've stuck to that. I don't share anything. I don't retweet or I don't do anything at all. I think that is where the joke... As soon as I do something, that's where it's pointless and I can get rid of it.
Oh, the best done in bait is on today for NXT UK, so it's just bait versus done.
Yeah, but we've missed it for the last couple of weeks, too. There might have been hidden gems. Who knows? If not, then you'll see us next week for this. If you want to join us, let us know. Mm-hmm. It's kind of shit early in the morning, but hey, if you're up and you've got the free time, we would love to have you. Add you to the NXT team, give you a nickname, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if you like the show, do us a favor, click the like button. It helps. If you like all of our shows, do yourself a favor, click the subscribe button over there. That's going to help you because your phone's going to tell you when our shows go up. Now, if you want to join us live, if you are at the Butt Crack Early,
we usually get here about 8:30.
Yeah, I was hard enough to get out without you interrupting me. Anyway, if you're up that early and you want to join us live, if you want to join us in the chat room, there's a bell icon over there that will tell your phone to tell you that we are going live, and you can come see us. However, we appreciate all our viewers, live or otherwise. Thank you all for viewing, and if you'd like to help the show in any other way, there's two other ways. We have a Patreon at Stefan R. Osborne. That would help if you can. If you just have a few seconds, the best way to help the channel grow, click the share button. Share us on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or wherever it'll allow you. You might have other social media platforms that I don't know about. But if you have friends that like to watch NXT, they might like to watch us. Mm-hmm. And you just gotta share them the link, and there you go. Occasionally we get new subscribers off of that. Mm-hmm. So if you have a few seconds, we've given you like 20. We'll give you a few more. You got any funny stories, Terry? I got a funny story. Okay, so here's a follow-up to the story I told about taking a drive and having that buzzard hawk or whatever swoop down, and like I smacked the shit. Like I damn near killed this bird. Mm-hmm. Wasn't dead, but it was fatally wounded. Anyway, so coming off of that, I didn't think to check my headlight, and we're talking weeks later. This was after a 1,500-mile round-trip drive to Pennsylvania. I end up seeing my headlight, and it is just like caved in a little bit. Like all of the hinges that hold it to the frame and whatnot are like broken, and I'm surprised this thing is hung on. I ended up repairing it, but holy shit, yeah. So the bird got me back. Killed a bird, but he fucked up my truck. Poor Joe. Joe's my truck.
Everybody's gone.
Chris May said, hope everyone has a good day. Nate Spain says, good show, guys. See you next time. We will see you, Nate.
And Colin says, take it easy.
And a shout out to Israel Diaz.
Wherever the hell you are.
Oh, he'll watch after.
Yeah, but still, where are you?
It's after-match wrestling, man.
You turncoat. We love you, Israel.
We love you, Israel. Thank you, as always, for watching. I think that's all of our time. For the general, the gentleman, that guy over there, Jerry Slaughter. Yeah, I'm the wizard, Stefan Osborne. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in NXT time.